Do you have an emergency backup plan for all of your DJ equipment? And I'm talking on-site emergency backup plan. If anything fails, do you have a plan to keep the show going? Let us know what your plan is in the comment section of this video, because I know a lot of you have some great plans. I'm going to share with you the plan that I have today and why I came up with it. And I'll give you a little history too. So, back in the old days, when I was doing this in the 80s, 90s, the deal wasn't to have an extra everything with you. The deal was you needed to make sure that you were able to finish the night. If something broke, you had a plan to get through the evening. And if the plan's good enough where most people in the audience don't notice, it's going to work. It's less stuff you have to carry. It's less stuff that you have to worry about. And usually it's a quicker turnaround too. If I had a bunch of emergency backup gear in my van or in my truck or whatever, I'd still have to go out there, get that stuff, bring it in and hook it up. What I want to do is do this very quickly. I want to be able to get this set up and running real fast. So that's what I'm going to share with you today. And I'm doing it on a budget. A lot of the stuff I've talked about in other videos, I'm going to do a review today. We're going to talk about sound and lighting. Before we go any further in today's very punk video, please understand that this is my backup plan and it's not gospel. If you have something else that you do that you like better, do it. Absolutely. I'm just sharing with you what I'm doing. And the other thing is, as a performer, you're probably going to hate some of the things that I'm going to suggest. You're not going to like it that you're not going to have full use of your computer or your controller or your sound or your lighting, but if you can pull this off, your audience won't notice. And again, that's the key. The show must go on, and you want to get paid at the end of the night. This is the kind of stuff that's going to get you through the night, where your audience probably isn't going to notice any difference. You will, but they won't. This is a sponsored video today from Hollywood DJ, located on 11th Street in Los Angeles, California. Check them out for any of your equipment needs, backup or not. Give them a call. Talk to my pal Alan. He will hook you up. Thank you, Hollywood DJ, for being one of our channel sponsors. So, first thing I want to talk about is lighting. This is usually the easiest thing to address because most people have multiple lights. If one light fails, you've got 3 other lights or 5 other lights or whatever the case might be. However, there are some people out there who have one light. And I'm talking about those of you who have things like gig bars. If your gig bar fails, what do? Well, you're kind of sunk. So maybe it's a good idea to carry an extra light with you if you're a gig bar kind of person, an all-in-one. Because if that system fails, you got nothing. And there are budget options you can go with. The one I like right now is this Color Key kit. You've got 4 battery-powered RF remote lights that all stay in sync, and they're very easy to set up. You can have something like this with you just in case your gig bar fails, and you can be set up and ready to go real quick. But like I said, most of us, we have multiple lights. So if one light goes, it's probably not the end of the world. Let's get on to audio. The computer is the first thing that I think we all need to think about. We need to make sure it's updated, ready to go. Our software works with our hardware, all of that fun stuff. But what if the computer fails? What do? A lot of people carry a backup computer, and you can do that. But I'm doing something a little different now, just to lighten things up, and it's very cost effective. I'm using this, and I've talked about this before, Android tablets with DJ from Algorithm in it. Now you can use an iPad if you want to, but these are pretty cost effective. I'm using the Amazon Fire tablets. I've hacked it, so it runs anything off the Google Play Store, including DJ from Algorithm. And I've got a micro SD card in this thing with all of my essential tracks on it. Every season, I go through my new tracks and I pick the ones that people generally like, and I put a folder together for that. And then I put together the party classics, and I stick them in here just in case there's a problem. Now, how am I going to hook this up to my system? Well, there's a couple of different ways you can do this, but the way I like to do it is use one of these guys right here. This is an RCA to mini plug cable. Got RCAs on one side, and you got a mini plug on the other side. All you have to do is plug the mini jack into the tablet itself, into the headphone jack, and then take your RCAs and plug them into the back of your controller or mixing board, and you've got backup. It's that simple. I know there are a lot of controllers out there right now that don't have auxiliaries, and in that case, I have ideas for you that you can get around that if you need to, and we'll talk about that a little later on in this video. Let's talk speakers. In the olden times, way back in the Tin Lizzy days, we had amplifiers and passive speakers. So what we had to do was carry an extra amplifier with us everywhere we went. That's what you had to do. If the amp goes, show's over. Today, we're using powered speakers. So you essentially have two amplifiers, one in each speaker. If one speaker goes down, you have another speaker. No, it's not going to be as full, but it will get you by. So that's my backup plan. If I ever lose a speaker, I go to the other speaker. It's that simple. There's no extra speakers that I carry with me. Again, I'm trying to make this happen quick. If I have to shut everything down and go out to my van or my truck, that's downtime. I'm trying to make this happen real quick, on-site emergency backup. What do I do if my controller or mixer goes down? Am I carrying an extra controller or mixer with me? No, I'm not. I bypass it. How do I do that? Let me show you. Step one, don't panic. We're going to use our RCA to mini cable that I showed you earlier. Go ahead and unplug the USB from your computer and take your mini plug and plug it into the headphone jack. On this particular machine, it's on the side right here. What you're also going to have to do is go into VDJ and let it know that you're going to be using it internally. You're not going to be using any kind of controller or anything like that. It's different with Serato or whatever program you happen to be using, but do that. Make sure you're running internal with this mini plug into the headphone jack. Step two, unplug both of your XLRs from the back of your controller. What you're going to want to do is leave one of these XLRs at the booth and take the other XLR and bring it down by your speakers. For today's demonstration, we're going to be using the Evolve 50s, but I think most modern speakers have a similar setup to this, where you've got multiple inputs, you've got auxiliary ins, and some kind of through or mix out. So here's how it would work with the Evolve 50s. The first thing I want to do is go ahead and plug in that mini to RCA cable into the auxiliary. My cat wants down here. I'm trying to keep my cat from coming down here, so forget the cat noise. So that's done. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to unplug this and I'm going to run it to mix out. So I got to flip the cable around, plug it into here. On the other speaker, I'm going to unplug this one right here and plug it in to input 1. Now remember that other cable that we left up top? That cable I'm going to plug into input 2. Just like that. On the other side of that cable, that's what I'm going to plug my microphone into. I like to have switched microphones just in case there's a problem like this, so I can easily turn it on and off. On the speaker itself, I'm going to have to assign input 2 to mic because it's on line level right now probably. I assigned it to mic, and then you have to adjust the volume on the Evolve 50 itself. Same thing with the overall volume for the speaker itself. Leave it at 0 dB. You can make those adjustments in the software if you want to, because you got volume on that too. For this backup plan, it's very important to remember that you're going to have to go in to your utilities on whatever program you're using and get rid of the controller, okay? That way, you're going to be able to use everything internally with a mouse or a keypad or shortcut keys or whatever. That includes your crossfader, your volume, your EQ, everything. And yes, it's going to suck. You're going to hate it, but the show's going to go on. And that was really the objective. And there was no downtime really to speak of. It doesn't take long to do this hookup that I showed you. I'll also add that this is the same thing that you would do if your controller did not have an auxiliary input, your laptop went down, and you were using a tablet with DJ from Algorithm or whatever program you were using on your tablet. Same process. Mini plug out of that into the speaker, and you switch things around accordingly, and even the microphone perhaps. I know a lot of you are using things like Jackeries just in case there's a loss of power. And that's a fantastic idea. I need to look into that myself. Yeah, it's another expense. It's something else to carry. And I will probably never use it. But the weird part about backup is if you have it, you'll never need it. If you don't have it, you need it. That's with everything in life. If you have a contingency plan, you're never going to need to use it. But if you don't have one, you're sunk. I don't know why life is like that, but it is. If I had power loss and I wanted the show to go on, I've got battery powered lights. So those are doing what they're supposed to do. So there's no lights in the venue because there's no power. I can still provide lights. That's a pretty cool thing. My laptop's battery powered. So if I had a little Everse 8 or a Maui 5 Go battery powered speaker for ceremony, I could plug it directly into that and I could continue to have sound, even if it wasn't at full capacity. And you know, when power goes out, anything that people can get, I think they're happy with. They're just happy there's something. I don't know. I mean, I've been in that situation before with generators. Power's gone out at a resort. I had to go to a generator. It wasn't a full-on system, but I was able to put something together, and they were incredibly happy to get something. The other part of me is saying, if the power's out, maybe we need to find out why, and maybe the music isn't the most important thing going on. Maybe there's a tornado or a storm or something we need to take cover, but neither here nor there. I always kind of looked at that as a utility that I don't have any control over. But yeah, with a Jackery, you absolutely have control over that. So not a bad idea, and it's something that I need to explore. And if you're using Jackery, tell me, are you upselling this? Are you telling them if the power goes out, the show can go on, and you're adjusting your prices accordingly, or you're more valuable to the customer because of it? Let me know in the comment section. So yeah, Murphy's Law, again, if you have backup, you're not going to need it. If you don't have backup, you're going to need it. So have a backup plan, which is the moral of today's story. That's it. We'll see you next time. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you guys for tuning in so much. Practice and enjoy.